Well, Alexis Wilkins has now filed her hat trick of defamation lawsuits, this time against
Elijah Schaeffer.
Viva Fry, former Montreal litigator turned current Florida rumbler, in my home office on a relatively cool Florida day. It's so cool, it's not actually too hot to shoot a vlog in my car. And if you haven't heard the news, Alexis Wilkins, who is the FBI director Kash Patel's girlfriend, has now sued her third online influencer, commentator, whatever you want to call them, Elijah Schaeffer. She has now sued Kyle Seraphin, Sam Parker, and Elijah Schaeffer for defamation for stating, or in the case of Elijah Schaeffer, implying that she is a Mossad honeypot agent, whatever the hell it is. It's a stupid allegation, but I do not think it rises to the level of defamation. Let's get into it. In an article from KOMO News from August 29th, 2025, FBI director's girlfriend sues podcaster for $5 million over outrageous, quote, honeypot, end quote, spy claims. From that article, Alexis Wilkins, the 26-year-old girlfriend of FBI Director Kash Patel, filed a $5 million defamation lawsuit against a former FBI agent turned podcaster who alleged Wilkins is honeypotting Kash on behalf of the Israeli government. Wilkins, a country music singer and political commentator, began dating Patel, 19 years her senior, in 2023 after meeting at a party in Nashville long before Patel was the head of the FBI. The complaint filed by Wilkins' lawyer Jason Greaves referred to an August 22nd, 2025 episode of Seraphin's show, The Kyle Seraphin Show, in which he said that Patel, 45, quote, has own little honeypot issue, end quote. Quote, he's got a girlfriend that is half his age, who is apparently both a country music singer, a political commentator on Rumble, a friend of John Rich through Bongino, who also now owns a big chunk of Rumble, and she's also a former Mossad agent in what is like the equivalent of their NSA, end quote, Seraphin said. Quote, but I'm sure that's totally because, like, she's really looking for a cross-eyed, you know, kind of thickish built, super cool bro who's almost 50 years old, who's Indian in America. Like, it has nothing to do with the fact that, we're really close to the Trump administration, end quote. Now, I happen to think that statement is wildly stupid. I think it's a baseless opinion. I also think, and I think Seraphin clarified afterwards, that he'd actually confused Alexis Wilkins with Marissa Streit from PragerU, which I still think it's a stupid statement to make, but I think it's still a stupid statement of opinion that, although is stupid and wrong, is nonetheless a matter of protected speech, in my humble opinion. But Alexis Wilkins' lawsuit is the strongest against Kyle Seraphin. It only gets weaker from there. Last week, as at the time of shooting this vlog, she also filed a $5 million defamation lawsuit against one Sam Parker on Twitter, because Sam Parker also insinuated that she was a Mossad agent, honeypot, whatever, and these are the allegations from that lawsuit, which I also think are terrible. In one of my tweets, at the Viva Fry, at the risk of defending a dumbass POS who has also accused me of being, unquote, Israeli influence operation, end quote, as dumb and unhinged as at based Sam Parker is, this does not rise to the level of defamation, in my humble opinion. I do predict this gets tossed at the slap level, and I have no idea why I tagged at the voice Alexa in that tweet. And from an allegation in that lawsuit against Sam Parker, paragraph 30, defendant reaffirmed his intention on February 28, 2025, when he suggested Ms. Wilkins' presumed Israeli status is why the Epstein files have not yet been publicly released. What if this is why Kash Patel doesn't release the Epstein files? The lawsuit then reads, at paragraph 31, defendant then stated that Ms. Wilkins, quote, does lots of content for Israel, sick, end quote, before crossing out, quote, Israel, end quote, and replacing it with, quote, PragerU, end quote. Paragraph 32 of that lawsuit, defendant raised his Epstein files theory again on July 21, 2025. In a thread number 1, Kash Patel's PragerU girlfriend doesn't say anything about Epstein, but won't shut up about Hunter Biden. Why do you think that is? Paragraph 33, defendant then directed readers back to his original February 23, 2025 thread, saying, quote, get the complete dossier on Alexis Wilkins in this thread, end quote. Now, the connection that many people are making to even suggest in their idiotic opinions that Alexis Wilkins is a Mossad honeypot, an agent of Israel, is that she created content for PragerU. PragerU is run by Marissa Streit. Marissa Streit apparently was in the IDF, and so everybody is saying anybody and everybody who had anything to do with PragerU, whether that was just tangentially creating content for PragerU, is therefore de facto an agent of Israel or a Mossad honeypot if they are attractive enough. Now, again, I think these are idiotic opinions to have, but I think that they are just that, and everybody understands that they are just that, idiotic opinions. And Sam Parker, for what it's worth, accused me of being an Israeli influence operation, or whatever the hell he called it. Sam Parker at Based Sam Parker 1, how to spot an Israeli influence operation. Viva Fry, David Fryhead, who is a Jehu, because they're so brave they don't even want to spell the word Jew, from Canada, living in the US, LARPing as an American patriot, misdirecting attention to China, shilling for an Israeli spy operation. This is the, quote, international Jew, end quote, my friends. They literally clothe themselves in our garb and use faux patriotism, all to win our affection and disguise their true identity and loyalty. Watch this short video all the way through to understand how they operate. What do you notice from this video? I'm wearing one of my favorite pairs of socks today. It's George Washington, but I've got a bunch of PragerU socks that I got the last time I was here with Marissa Streit, and they're amazing. Apparently they're giving them away now. Any donation to PragerU, you get the American flag socks, made in America, not made in China, which is a #1 thing for me. Justin Trudeau coming out of Canada, he's ruined the cute socks, and we're gonna take back cute socks and make them cool again. To which I replied in a quote tweet,
fucking retarded?
Or just insane. Am I going to threaten to sue an idiot for having an idiotic opinion that is something that everyone takes as an opinion? Am I going to sue every idiot on the internet who has an idiotic opinion? I think it was Winston Churchill who said, you'll never get to your destination if you stop to throw stones at every barking dog. Hell no, it's an idiotic opinion. It's almost become an internet trope. It is not the substance of defamation lawsuits, in my humble opinion. But if you thought the allegations against Kyle Seraphin were relatively strong and the allegations against Sam Parker were a little bit weaker, wait until you hear the allegations against Elijah Schaeffer. Complaint: defendant Elijah D. Schaeffer has perpetuated a malicious lie about Alexis Wilkins, falsely claiming that she, an American-born country singer, is an agent of a foreign government assigned to manipulate and compromise the director of the FBI. Defendant, an internet personality who makes a living as a podcaster and political commentator, profiting on churning controversy and outrage, is using this fabricated narrative as self-enriching clickbait and has published it to his sizable audience, painting a target on Ms. Wilkins for no reason other her association with FBI Director Kash Patel. Accordingly, Ms. Wilkins seeks to hold defendant accountable for his malicious and knowing lies. What were those malicious and knowing lies? You won't actually believe what the lawsuit itself actually alleges. Elijah Schaeffer didn't say anything. He just reposted something with a photograph, which is some form of tacit, explicit defamatory statement. Paragraph 11. On September 14, 2025, ex-user Hen Matzig published a lengthy and detailed post about the prominent role female Mossad agents have played in Israel's sophisticated intelligence efforts against Iran, including by, quote, seducing top officials, end quote, and that, quote, some of them reportedly seduced high-ranking enemy officials, end quote. Paragraph 12, in a responsive comment or quote post published that same day, September 14, 2025, defendant posted, without a caption, a photograph of Ms. Wilkins arm in arm with Kash Patel, which she originally shared on her Instagram account in January 2024. In the photo, Ms. Wilkins and Patel are dressed up for a formal event, and Ms. Wilkins is wearing a fitted red halter neck cocktail dress. Paragraph 13, defendant's post of the photo received massive engagement with 1.5 million views, at least 38,000 likes, hundreds of comments, and thousands of reposts and bookmarks. And now I'm going to read the next allegations. If you've already seen it, you know where this is going. It's an allegation which I think defeats the lawsuit on its face. While defendant may not have included any caption to spell out the meaning of his post, he didn't have to. Ever since Kash Patel was appointed as director of the FBI in February 2025, the conspiratorial corners of the internet and social media have been spreading a false narrative that Ms. Wilkins is an Israeli Mossad agent, spy, or, quote, honeypot, end quote, who is only in a relationship with Kash Patel to spy on and manipulate the United States government. Defendant's wordless reply to Mr. Hatzig's lengthy description of female Mossad agents who, quote, seduce high-ranking enemy officials, end quote. Juxtaposing a carefully chosen photograph of Ms. Wilkins in a sleeveless red dress embracing the director of the FBI, unmistakably accuses Ms. Wilkins of being a Mossad agent for Israel who has, quote, seduced, end quote, Director Patel to compromise him, a honeypot. The insidious insinuation understood by an ordinary viewer as evidence below is that Ms. Wilkins is a spy for a foreign government conducting espionage to undermine our national security and to manipulate federal law enforcement at the highest level, even committing treason. These accusations are all categorically false, and defendant knows it. Wow, so defendant didn't put any words in his post, and the plaintiff reads into it a slew of accusations, a slew of allegations that she imputes to the wordless photograph that he posted. It could have been a joke, and it probably was a joke. It could be an internet trope, and it probably is an internet trope. What it is clearly a statement of opinion, in my humble opinion, one that is not actionable under laws of defamation. Now, the fact that it's wordless doesn't itself mean it's a bar to any defamation lawsuit. There is something of a concept of defamation through implication defamation, but typically it does not apply to these types of circumstances. It has to be a little bit more of an overt, direct implication, not posting a photograph in response to an article for what might have been a joke on the internet. Now, surprisingly, there are a lot of people out there who are actually defending this lawsuit, saying if you don't want to get sued, don't say stupid things. The amount of people online who accuse other people of being assets, agents, whatever, it's an internet trope. It's sort of the culture of the internet. To say that each and every one of those statements is defamatory and actionable for a $5 million lawsuit in defamation is preposterous. This is clearly internet humor, internet culture, and I think it looks very, very bad and reflects very, very poorly on the plaintiff and the plaintiff's significant other, that they are going full throttle filing lawsuits against commentators for commentating on the internet for an administration that purportedly loves freedom of speech and First Amendment rights. And again, this is not government censorship of language, so it's technically not a First Amendment issue. First Amendment free speech rights never protected defamation in the first place, but this is not defamatory. These are just idiotic statements that I think everyone appreciates are statements of opinion. That's just my humble opinion. Oh, and by the way, if you like my humble opinion, be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on notifications, drop a comment in the comment section below. Heck, if you don't like my opinion, let me know why, and
subscribe at the same time.
And not for nothing, what better way to imply or let people think that there's an underlying political reason to this lawsuit? The main allegation is that there was a post with no words, a photograph, and that post said a whole hell of a lot of things. Well, they then go on to suggest that the politics of Elijah Schaeffer might have something to do with the lawsuit itself. Paragraph 17, a defendant frequently posts anti-Israel rhetoric, accusing Israel of controlling the United States and its politicians. And then we have some screenshots of some posts which you can pause and read at your leisure. So that is the lawsuit. I think it's something of a joke. I think it reflects poorly on the plaintiff, and I think it reflects poorly on conservatism at large. If you can't take these types of jokes, this type of internet culture, then don't make yourself a public figure. But you're not going to run around suing everybody who accuses someone of being a Putin puppet, a Putin asset. And if you're going to, you're going to be very, very busy, and you're going to discredit yourself in the process. So that's the vlog. If you like what I do, you know what to do, yada, yada, yada. But most importantly, exercise, eat healthy sunlight, talk to people in real life, and now you know your vlog. Peace out, peeps. Booyah!